Let's bring in Bernstein senior research analyst Stacy Rasgon. Stacy, Jensen knows how to cast a vision, but is AI win, is it already priced into the stock at this level? I mean, what are we at, $750 billion in market cap?
Yeah. I mean, look, so Nvidia is expensive, right? And you could argue that, and people do, but at the same time, Nvidia is always expensive. I always go back to, like, we've covered the stock for quite a few years. Like, but the day I launched on it, which, 5 or 6, 7 years ago, it was 50 times earnings back then. And as it turns out, it was not expensive. It was incredibly cheap because, like, the earnings was wrong, right? It was way too low. And they've had, the stock is up a ton, but, like, so is the revenue, and so is, especially on the data center side. And I think that what you have to believe is that we are still early in the journey.
So is there such a thing? Is there such a thing as a luxury stock? Because it sounds like you're telling me this is like a designer handbag. Like, you should never just think about the cost of materials here with this one. It's always just going to be pricey. But I mean, even in a down economy, if that's really where we end up for a while, how should investors, chip investors, think about that?
I mean, look, even today, we're in a bit of a down economy, and we're actually seeing weakness in overall data center spending, but they're spending on artificial intelligence. Like, they're focusing their spend there, right? So, I mean, even in a call it a downturn, I mean, the dollars are flowing this way. And people, I think, are getting, they're maybe missing the point a little bit. I mean, everybody's getting worked up about ChatGPT, but ChatGPT has only been around since November. Right? And large language models have been around for a while, but this is the first opportunity, I think, that, like, the regular, like, person on the street has had an opportunity to reach out and actually touch this and use it and see what it can do. We're very, very early on this journey. I don't know what this is going to look like in 5 years or 10 years, but it's going to be much bigger than it is today, and it's already starting to get big today.
All right. We did get Applied Materials earnings just a few moments ago. You've got an outperform rating. Want to get your initial takeaways on what we heard?
Yeah, it looks good. I was a decently solid beat and raise. They beat on both equipment revenues as well as on services. Within the equipment side, foundry and logic beat by a pretty good amount. DRAM was maybe a little light, but not surprising. Memory's awful. Flash memory, NAND flash was horrendous, but again, not a huge surprise given what we know in that market. Overall, at least from the release itself, it looks good, and we'll see what they have to say on the call.
Yeah, I think about Elon Musk, getting interviewed on CNBC earlier this week, talking about China and Taiwan, and essentially reading between the lines in terms of official policy where that island is concerned. I think about Buffett selling out of some of his stakes because of geopolitical concerns. I mean, when we talk about the disentangling of the U.S. and China and the tech supply chain and all these question marks around geopolitics, what does it mean for semiconductors?
Yeah, look, so China's a big market, right? It clearly, and areas like Taiwan are incredibly important for semiconductor manufacturing, as we know. I'll be honest, I don't really understand the Buffett sale. I mean, it had Taiwan right in the name when he bought it, so I don't know what he didn't understand, but I guess he got more concerned over time. The idea of, like, a China decoupling or like geopolitical risk around Taiwan is a real one, and certainly semiconductor investors have been concerned and are concerned about those sorts of things. I would say right now, at least in regards to Taiwan, like, China needs Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing today. They use it. You don't get access to it by, like, taking over the island. Those fabs are scrap metal in 6 months without spare parts and services. So you've got a bit of a detente for now. But that is a risk that's there. I think over the long term, there is a concern about, like, a broader, just, like, widespread decoupling of China. Does China decide to build their own local, complete ecosystems? I think it's very, very difficult. They may be forced in that direction, though, especially on, like, some of the older generation stuff where they're being forced to focus their efforts now. These are longer term risks that people are sort of thinking about. Yeah.